What's good, y'all? It's Virginia J, the host of the Parlay and Bull podcast. We're now here for episode 3, and per usual, I'm recording the intro last. I always find that way easier than starting off with the intro. It's like starting off the album with like track 7, and then you finish with the intro. It just ties it all together. Anyways, we're gonna talk about 5 key artists that have influenced me. It's really a stream of consciousness episode. Walk with me, y'all. So, Langston Hughes, one of the greatest to ever do it, one of the best black writers of all time. He was a poet, he was a playwright, but most importantly, he was a person. Hughes embodied the Harlem Renaissance. A lot of his poetry, a lot of his canon lies on that breakbeat blues jazz poetry that we characterize with the Harlem Renaissance. He wrote black life at its complexity, and he often wrote for the layman. He was popular with the average Joe, with the ordinary person. 2 poems that I chose is Ifing and Morning After. I'm gonna read them for you. So Ifing goes, if I had some small change, I'd buy me a mule. Get on that mule and ride like a fool. If I had some greenbacks, I'd buy me a Packard. Fill it up with gas and drive that baby backward. If I had $1 million, I'd get me a plane and everybody in America to think I was insane. But I ain't got $1 million. Fact is, ain't got a dime. So just by flying, I'd have a good time. For Morning After, it was, I was so sick last night, I didn't hardly know my mind. So sick last night, I didn't know my mind. I drunk some bad liquor, almost made me blind. Had a dream last night, I thought I was in hell. I dreamt last night, I thought I was in hell. Woke up and looked around me. Babe, your mouth was open like a well. I said, baby, please don't snore so loud. Baby, please. You just a little woman, but you sound like a great big crowd. I chose these poems because these kind of remind you of like your average Saturday night hanging out with the guys, and you might have your own escapades once everybody decides to go home a little bit. And then with Ifing, it reminds me of having to live that check to check kind of vibe, that if I could do anything in the world, I would. But at the moment, I can't. Until I achieve that dream, I'm going to dream about it and I'm going to think about it big. And that spoke to me as a teenager, that kind of writing style that was different from your Edgar Allan Poe's and your Robert Frost and all that other stuff you learned in like middle and high school. It was different. It was new. It was refreshing. It rubbed off on me to write in jazzy, effective, and observant framework. That's really what a lot of Hughes' work has done for me. And although I haven't read his canon in a very long time, I always pay respect to Hughes as one of the best writers of all time. Baraka, formerly known as Leroy Jones. Fair warning, he was a poet, he was an activist, and his writing style shifted over time from like jazz poetry to black nationalist politics to socialist politics. And he has made comments over the years that aren't popular with, mainstream thought. Well, I don't agree with all of them. His writing style and certain poems of his have influenced how I write. He's got a poem that I love. I love his poem, Young Soul. Young Soul is written in a way that it is like an elder speaking to the youth. This is one of the poems that showed me that, you could take any free verse or form that you want, written in lowercase, written in sentences starting on the same line as ending lines. It's got a cadence that not many poems have. Similar to Langston Hughes, it's got a casual, in-your-face, reel you in type of cadence. I am grateful to have a copy. It's Black Magic Poetry by Leroy Jones at the time. He changed his name to Amiri Baraka. But it's actually 3 of his works. So it goes: first feel, then read or read, then feel, then fall or stand where you already are. Think of yourself and the other selves. Think of your parents, your mothers and sisters, your bent slick father, then feel or fall on your knees if nothing else will move you. Then read and look deeply into all matters come close to you, city boys. Countrymen, make some muscle in your head, but use the muscle in your heart. The thing about the book, the thing about Young Soul, is it's not a long poem, but it carries that weight of someone who had seen a lot and wanted the youth to be better. Hey, Don't get lost. Don't get confused in the maelstrom of what's going on. Remember that you are a person and you're here present. Not only do you think, not only do you use your intelligence, but feel, use emotions. Like, it's okay to be emotional. That kind of inspired a lot of my more recent poetry, and like especially in the last 3 or 4 years, where I write from a place of existence. Like, at the end of the day, it's not all bad. Not only do you have to figure out your circumstance, but you have to move forward. But don't neglect how you feel. Before you get into a lot of his work, understand he's not politically correct in a lot of those poems. Yeah, some of the language surprised even me, where I was like, oh, well, I guess we're doing this. So I don't agree with every poem he's ever written, but he's got some bangers out there. We're in the part of the video where, we're not talking about strictly poets in the traditional sense of the word, right? So for many people, hip-hop may not be considered poetry, but it uses the same poetic devices. It uses a lot of the same writing techniques. And when you do rap and you do written verses, you have to understand that. Don't you just love having a dog? Anyways, so you have to understand that certain writing techniques and certain verses, the way they're constructed, rely heavily on metaphor, lyricism. Like, we all know this. I don't have to explain the wheel. You know what I'm saying? One of the greatest of all time, at least in my personal top 5, argue with yourselves, Scarface. Scarface is a Houston legend and the founding member of the Ghetto Boys. He combines street knowledge with like this spiritual. Now, why would you do that? He combines street knowledge with spiritual elements. He's not afraid to talk about his own pain. He's not afraid to talk about suffering. He's not afraid to talk about depression, but he's also not afraid to talk about the good that comes with life, the joys that come with life. And while a lot of people, when they hear Scarface, they may think of verses from The Fix, Diary. One of my favorite verses from Scarface comes from his album, The World Is Yours. The track, Still That Aggin', that's how it is on Apple Music. We all know what it is backwards. It combines like a raw element and narrative prowess with real pain, real lessons, a real glimpse into tick for tack ideology. It's just dope rhyming. Like, listen. Gunshots rang from a drop top tray. Hit my little partner in his chest and there he lay. I never held the hand of a dead man, never. It took a tragic death to bring the family together. So now we have to get the mother and his friends. Cause it's in my family, you're all about revenge. It's all about respect, retaliation on the villain. The minute I spot it, close your eyes cause I'ma kill him. That's like the first 8 bars. That don't but across the beat and the way it hits and fits in the pocket. Listen, why it sticks out to me and why it's so important to me and influence how my writing is, it allowed me to build cadence. It allowed me to build that aggressive energy. It's in your face. In 8 bars, he described the whole story, the issue, the context, and that's all poetry is. It's not just, oh, roses are red, violets are blue. You like me, I like you. No, it's real, like, expressive emotion. It's real, like, getting your pain out. But it's not just your pain, it's the pain of other people. Within the first 4 bars of the verse, he's already telling you, hey, look, I lost a little homie. The homies is already, like, we probably ain't even been talking for real. But bro just passed. And it took him passing to bring people back together. The implications of life, of like how life happens within that verse. But it's a classic. It's a classic. Don't argue with me. Argue with yourselves. Moving on. I didn't realize until I got to this part of the video that I just did a Houston episode and I just put 2 Texas groups. Y'all know what I mean. UGK. First of all, rest in peace, Pimp C. Second of all, one of the best hip-hop duos of all time. I'm actually part of a hip-hop duo. It's called Name Pen. My best friend, my brother Terrance Amiri, and I, in creating Name Pending, we've looked at several duos and the authenticity, their independence, the way they got it out the mud, even their struggles with label deals. UGK, you have Bun B, you have Pimp C. They have so many great verses. While a lot of people know them from International Players Anthem, a lot more people may know them from stuff like Let Me See It, Chopping Blades. It's this one cut off of Riding Dirty, Diamonds and Wood. It was hard because I would put the whole song if I could. I'm not gonna lie to you. And the hook itself is flips down the AM. No, I'm looking good. I'm banging screw. Diamonds up against that wood. That's the hook. It's just a hook, right? I chose Pimp C's third verse because I heard this verse when I was young and I was coming up, and I had those same dreams inspired by poems like Ifin. Wanted to picture myself as this big famous rapper. I was like 19. Especially when I was coming up and I was trying to figure out my way with being fly and trying to make money and, had me a little boo at the time or whatever. Listen to this verse. Flipping through PA, I'm trying to see some good, but everything was still the same in my neighborhood. Got to the point where I could not decipher day from night. She say she love me, but all we do now is fight. My conscience F with me so much that I can't eat or sleep. The other side is selling dope and out there running the streets. But see, drugs and plastic thugs ain't gonna change the hood. I'm smoking skunk and popping the trunk that made me feel good. Dude, what are we talking about? Within that verse, he described so many things, right? Just not only just being fly, but look, you trying to make yourself better. People stay hating. I'm dealing with someone, they claim this is love. This ain't love. All we do is F and fight, which in itself I always interpret as a double entendre, because all we do now is F and fight, or all we do now is fight. The other aspect of this verse, why it's important to me as a writer, is just that every word is placed well for a reason. Even the cuss words, even the expletives, right? I'm venting, like I'm getting it off my chest. Like it ain't sweet, man. My own writing, I take that, sometimes I cuss in my writing. Oh well. Like sometimes you just gotta tell people straight up, I ain't trying to hear that ish, man. Or you in the middle of writing a dope poem, and for me it's just like I just gotta let it know, like I can speak without an expletive. When I use the weight of like the F word or hell or damn, or I say the S word or something, it's like, what I'm saying, man. I'm not just saying it just to say it. And this verse kind of taught me that. Like, it was so natural. Every word was used correctly here. Wait for the last one. The last one is a treat. Hold up. If you haven't figured out by now, sensory language is my biggest thing when it comes to writing. Writing and music and hip hop are all lived experiences. One of the best to ever do it is Phonte, Little Brother in general. And I might be a little biased as a Eagle alum. Phonte's Cry No More off his album No News Is Good News. That's the selection we're going with. And mother can't cry no more when you die no more. It's a crying shame you don't even try no more. Put my pops in the ground and hit the repass, and ain't the same ish that killed him. My sons look at me these days and think I'm certified, preparing them for a world they'll be deserted by. Cause by the time you realize that your father was right, you'll probably have your own son telling you that you're wrong, but be his ride or die, even if you two ain't seeing eye to eye. Teach him how to throw a punch, ride a bike, tie a tie, hold him to him while you can. This is just what I advise. The heaviest thing about this verse is not only a meditation on fatherhood, it's a life cycle. He went from mourning his own father to having to be a father to his own sons and having to be strong and present for them. And there's other parts of the verse where he's mourning the future loss of his mother, because he says, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to lose my mom. I just lost my dad. Like, not only has it influenced my writing to be more human, to be more vulnerable, to pull on literary classics and grand metaphors. Sometimes the best way to convey an emotion is to just say it, is to just be real. You'll see in a lot of my own work, you may not see the grandest metaphors or the double entendre, but at the end of the day, the realest thing you can do in your writing, the best way to connect is to say it, is to connect, is to be present. In the spirit of Father's Day coming up, I just had to bring up this song about, Black fatherhood. You have to appreciate your fathers while you're here. I also purposely chose Amiri Baraka because my dad got me this book. My dad has been one of my biggest motivators, my biggest investors all my life. So, hey, Dad. Appreciate you. This wraps up the episode. I just had to take a little break because, coming back from Houston, getting readjusted to real life reality, it takes a little bit. But if you've been paying attention for my video viewers, you'll notice that I'm wearing a Parlay and Bull hat. I've been working on some early merch ideas to kind of support the podcast and support the media brand I'm growing. So if you want one, let me know in the comments. Hit me up on Instagram if that's something y'all would like. I'm working on a poem collection called 24 Summers and the Flowers That Bloomed. It's coming out soon. Got a few poems from the project on my personal Instagram. Let me know what you think about that. As I continue to expand and think about things, I'm thinking about a culture and commentary code website. So all of the stuff, the podcast, the poems, a newsletter, and all that stuff will funnel through there. So as always, I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. And I hope you keep rocking with me. Until then, peace and prosperity, man. Gone.